The only thing I can think of now is how fulfilling that's going to be a father, and how fulfilling it's going to be for Ashley, because I know that she wants to be a mother
Yeah.
also. And I just know from like the depths of my heart, I know that this is what God planned for us. And I think also God planned for you
Yeah.
and you and Jen. I mean, us who are going to be married. We have a lot of friends who are getting married now, so
I know, right?
it's really cool.
Mhm.
And as to how many children we get blessed with, I don't know. But I think of one of our close family friends who adopted us from St. Vitus, and she was explaining to us about it's a big family. You know, I think there's seven of them.
Mm.
So she was telling us that there was a time where she started to worry. You know, she had a kid on the way, and she was thinking, well, you know, it's going to be our sixth or seventh kid, and
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of hard. But obviously, you got to do everything you can. You know, don't just sit on your behind and
Yeah,
not
especially as
work
men,
and
yeah.
do everything. But she told us that, you know, if God blesses you with a child, He's also going to provide. You know,
Yeah.
and sure enough, she told us that after the child was born, that they got by.
Mhm.
And obviously, it was stressful. You know, stressful
Well,
to
even having one kid's stressful, not
have
having
that sort of
six.
pressure. But yeah, I mean, when you have a great faith and you realize that a child is a gift from God,
Mm.
of course, God has the opportunity to provide for you. You know, obviously, if you're like looking for work and doing the best you can, right? And I don't think there's a perfect situation too where it's always going to be a single income family. There's occasions where maybe you're not called to live out in a cheaper part of the states. You know, maybe you're called to stay here in California,
Mm.
and your wife happens to be a lawyer or work somewhere else. As long as you have the intention of living out your vocation,
Mhm.
of placing your family and your home at the top of your list, and you get everything done, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Yeah, and, again, like, there are I think that what we're trying to do is we're trying to reclaim the culture.
Of
I
course.
wanna live in a culture where it is, like, the norm, and economically, it's a norm to live in a single, stream of income household, right? Where your wife staying home is something that's just kind of the natural thing if she desires, that you decide as a couple, depends on what you're doing, right? Um, instead of something that's like, okay, well, you know, we kind of have to both get out there and schlep it for a second. Yeah. And I think that that helps so much with headship, certainly. I think it helps so much with just kind of determining um, each other's strengths and weaknesses in each other's really honest vocations. Um, and what's nice about that, now, of course, again, um, that's a good culture to bring about. Um, because what we've done now in this culture, and again, I'm not saying like it's sinful or demonic that women are working. Obviously not. I can't think of where nurses or teachers would be without women. So, right. But I will say this: it's what we've done is we've made marriage and we've made children a commodity,
Yes.
and we've completely destroyed of the fundamental building block of civilization, which is the family unit. And we now have all these effects of what happens when, and I see this all the time, right? With like mom and dad are working, and so the kid just stays with the nanny all the time, and they grow up with some form of mom and dad, but not really the proper kind of orientation of what it means. And for me, like, I am looking very much forward to marriage. I'm looking very much forward to fatherhood. Um, there are a lot
Me
of,
too. I want to see that. I want to see that on you.
I know, I want to see it on you, and I
There
can't
was
wait.
there was one day that you must have been taking care of somebody's kids, but there was a day where you were at mass with Jen, and there was
Oh, those three,
two
yeah.
kids with you,
Hmm.
two or three kids
Yeah,
with you, and I
yeah.
saw that, and it's like one of those moments where you're supposed to be paying attention in mass, but you kind of like you get caught on looking at something and you're like, whoa, and you start thinking about it. And I saw that and I said, Jordan's going to be a great dad. Like, see
Oh.
that. I think actually when I looked over, you were like explaining to the kid
Uh-huh. Well, let me
what's
let,
going on. I was
let
like,
me
wow, that's like dad mode right
I
there.
use my nephew as my guinea pig because, and I tell this to Jen, and let me tell you, you know this, especially now in your married life, but for Jen and I, one of the highest compliments, like one of the highest affections we've started giving each other, just in the natural progression of our relationship, is like when Jen looks at me and she says, like, I cannot wait to be the mother of your children.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
like,
good feeling.
wow. Like, I'm like, I tell her all the time, I'm like, look, I cannot wait for you to be my wife. Oh, well, she tells me I cannot wait for you to be the father of our children. I say, I cannot wait for you to be the mother of my children, I should say. Um, and I was just in the car today, and I figured that, like, I was out here with a lot of my coworkers are married men with children. I've met some of their wives and some of the kids, and one has he has 4 daughters spread from 10 years old down to 2, and they're absolutely adorable. And it's nice because the nicest thing is this: in Los Angeles on set, I can't tell you how many freaking pictures of like dogs and cats and pets I've looked at. And it's nice that that energy is properly oriented when people want to talk about their kids. And when they have kids, like, they don't shut up about the kids, and I love it. I'm always like, hey, I was like, how's your daughter doing here? Like, what's going on here? And people will, they beam with pride. And it's stressful. Like, I have a friend, he has a newborn baby, and him and his wife therefore are not sleeping, you know?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can tell, like, that's stressful, that's hard. Like, parenthood is hard, fatherhood's hard, motherhood's hard, but you can tell they wouldn't trade that for the world,
Yeah.
you know? And I really, it's so funny how, because Jen is my vocation, my future, and I now see what that means, how I can tell that I've been preparing also for what fatherhood means. Cause I've always liked kids, like I really have genuinely liked kids, but like now I'm like, I can't wait to have kids. And like, I'm going to tell them this, like, I'm going to show them this. I can't wait to teach my sons and my daughters, like, how to clean a rifle. I can't wait to, like, take them fishing. I love, like, with my nephew, like, he was feeling sad today, right? And I pulled him aside into his room, and I was like, well, what's wrong, And he's explaining to me, and I said, listen, first off, like, it's okay to be sad. I don't want you, like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have, it's okay to be upset, And so I gave him some tissues. I just sat with him, and I was like, I got to remember this for my kids. But I really think it's exciting how God lets us play such a grand part in his divine plan for souls, that we can actually, just as he is our father, that we can have that imprint of that fatherhood on our own children. Like, I really can't wait. And I can't wait to be bouncing ideas off of you, because your kids are going to come before mine. So I can't wait to be like, hey, Rudy, what do you think?
Well, I imagine they're going to be a year older, so I don't know how many
I
ideas
mean,
you're going
yeah,
to bounce
but
on me.
I'll be like
Um,
taking notes from you. You'll tell me the sleep patterns, what to expect, all that kind of stuff.